Spiritual Manthan.
What if I told you that the reason you've always felt a little different, a little too sensitive, is because you were never meant to fit in? You were meant to awaken. That pain you've carried, the heartbreaks that never quite healed, the way you absorb everyone's energy like a sponge, the way you cry for reasons you can't explain. What if none of it is random? What if it's a sign that you're a chosen empath? Yeah, I know that phrase gets tossed around a lot on the internet, like it's a cute personality type. But this, what we're about to talk about, this goes way deeper than that. This is sacred. And by the end of this video, you won't just understand why you've always felt so much. You'll start to see that the pain you carry, it's not a flaw. It's your gift. Let's dive in. 1. The curse that's actually a calling. You know those moments when you feel like you're carrying the weight of something invisible? Like you're absorbing emotions that aren't even yours? Maybe you walk into a room and instantly you know something's off. No one has to say a word, your body just knows. It tightens, your heart speeds up, your skin reacts. You feel it before it happens. Most people will tell you that's just being too sensitive, that you need to toughen up. But what they don't understand is this: your sensitivity is not a weakness. It's a finely tuned instrument. It's like being born with spiritual sonar. You pick up frequencies, energies, emotions that others completely miss. It can feel like a curse, but that's because no one taught you how to use it. You see, when you're a chosen empath, you're not just feeling your emotions. You're feeling for the collective. You're picking up the grief someone is hiding behind their smile. You're feeling the frustration in someone who hasn't even admitted it to themselves yet. You weren't cursed with extra emotions, you were called to carry more. Not in a burdened, heavy way, but in a deeply sacred, purpose-filled way. You were built to see what others ignore, to hear what others silence, and to heal what others pass by. And yes, that's a lot. But it's also a gift so rare that only a few truly carry it. You're not here to be normal. You're here to remember what most people have forgotten, that empathy isn't just a feeling. It's a frequency. And you're tuned in. 2. Why you've always felt different. Have you ever stared at the world and thought, is it just me, or does none of this make sense? Like, why are people pretending? Why are we chasing things that don't matter? Why does no one talk about the stuff that actually hurts or heals or transforms? If that thought has ever crossed your mind, let me assure you it's not just you. You've always felt a little offbeat in a world playing a song you can't dance to. But that's not because you're out of sync. It's because you're tuned to a different rhythm, a higher one. One that remembers things this world has forgotten. Chosen empaths feel like aliens sometimes. Like they were dropped on Earth from somewhere else and handed no manual. Everyone around you is obsessed with status updates, likes, and filters. And you're over here wondering, what happened to truth? To connection? To depth? That ache you carry? That feeling like something's missing, like everyone is asleep and you're the only one awake? That's your soul remembering. It remembers a place where energy wasn't hidden, it was seen. Where love wasn't something you earned, it was the air. Where presence mattered more than productivity. And when you're born into a world that's forgotten that, of course, you feel like you don't belong. But here's the secret: you weren't supposed to belong. You were supposed to remind people of the unseen, the unspoken, the sacred truths buried beneath layers of distraction. So when you feel different good, that means you're still in touch with what's real. And in a world built on illusion, that's the greatest power of all. 3. You are a mirror. Have you ever noticed how people sometimes react strongly to you, even when you haven't done anything? Maybe they distance themselves. Maybe they lash out. Or maybe they open up so deeply and so quickly that it startles even you. It's not random. It's because you are a mirror. You reflect. You don't just see people, you expose them. Not in a harsh, confrontational way, but in a quiet, undeniable way. Your presence, your gaze, your energy, it holds up a mirror to someone's soul. And most people aren't ready to look. You make them feel seen, and that terrifies them, because being seen means being vulnerable. It means their masks, their carefully constructed walls, start to crumble. So they label you too intense, too emotional, too sensitive. But here's the truth, they're not reacting to you. They're reacting to what you awaken in them. Chosen empaths are soul catalysts. We stir things. We shift energy simply by showing up. We don't have to say a word. The room changes. The air gets thicker. Emotions get louder. Why? Because when you carry deep awareness, it activates others' shadows. And here's the part that's hardest to swallow. They might reject you for it. They might leave. They might blame you. But that's not your burden to carry. You're not here to make people comfortable. You're here to be real, to reflect truth. And sometimes, truth burns before it heals. So the next time someone reacts to you in a way that feels confusing, pause and remember, I'm a mirror, and not everyone is ready for their own reflection. But one day, they'll thank you for it. 4. Your sensitivity is a superpower. They told you your feelings were too much, didn't they? You were probably that kid who cried when someone else got hurt, who felt guilty for things that weren't even your fault, who needed quiet time after being in a crowd too long, not because you were shy, but because it all just felt too loud. And somewhere along the way, you started believing that this deep sensitivity was a flaw. But let me flip the script right now. Your sensitivity is your superpower. You feel more, not because you're weak, but because you're wide open. You notice the micro expressions on someone's face when they say I'm fine, but they're clearly not. You sense tension between people in a room, even if no one is talking. You feel when someone's spirit is breaking, even while they're smiling. That's not a coincidence. That's not drama. That's intuition. Your nervous system is wired like an antenna, picking up on energetic frequencies that most people miss entirely. And sure, it can be overwhelming. It can make the world feel like too much sometimes. But what if your depth wasn't something to control but to embrace? What if your tears are sacred rivers that cleanse old pain? What if your empathy is the exact medicine this disconnected world needs? Superpowers don't come in shiny packages. They often come in the form of scars, solitude, and soft hearts in harsh places. So the next time someone tells you you're too sensitive, smile. Because what they really mean is you feel too deeply for their comfort. But that depth, that's your gift. You don't just see the surface. You dive into souls. 5. The invisible work you do. Let's talk about something no one sees but you feel every day. The invisible work. You might not wear a healer's robe or sit in a therapist's chair, but make no mistake, you're doing emotional labor that would exhaust most people. Ever gone to a gathering and felt completely drained after? Like your body just ran a marathon, but your mind can't explain why. That's because you weren't just attending, you were absorbing, processing, filtering. You're like an emotional vacuum. People come near you, and suddenly they feel better. They open up, they vent, they cry, they confess, and when they walk away, they feel lighter. But guess what? Now you're carrying what they left behind. Empaths are transmuters. We alchemize pain. We take in heavy emotions and somehow mysteriously turn them into understanding, into comfort, into space. It's sacred work, but it's exhausting when you don't realize what's happening. And the world doesn't recognize it either. There's no paycheck, no thank you, no applause for the nights you spent sitting with a friend's pain while ignoring your own. No medal for the heartbreak you healed that wasn't even yours. But that doesn't make it any less real. You've likely felt like hiding from the world sometimes, and that's okay. It doesn't make you weak. It means your soul is catching its breath. So here's your reminder. What you do matters. Even if no one sees it, even if no one claps for it, you are holding up more than just your life. You're holding space for others to heal. And that, dear empath, is the invisible heroism of your heart. 6. The sacred breakdown. Let's be real for a moment. There comes a point in every chosen empath's life where it all just breaks. And I don't mean a little hiccup. I'm talking full-blown soul collapse. Everything you thought you were holding together suddenly falls apart. Relationships dissolve. Your job stops making sense. You question your sanity, your identity, your entire existence. And in the middle of it, the world feels quiet. But not peaceful quiet, empty quiet. You cry, not because you're weak, but because your soul is shedding everything false. And while it feels like the end, it's actually the beginning. Because that sacred breakdown, that's your initiation. That's the universe saying, you're done playing small. You see, chosen empaths are not built in comfort. We are forged in fire, in silence, in solitude, in those long dark nights of the soul when everything familiar disappears and the only thing left is you. Not the you people expect, not the you you've pretended to be, the real you, the soul underneath the performance, the truth beneath the coping, the light that can't be dimmed no matter how dark the night gets. In that breakdown, you stop running, you stop pretending, you meet yourself raw, cracked open and real. And you begin to remember who you are, why you're here, what matters. Pain becomes a teacher, silence becomes a guide, and your scars, they become sacred symbols of survival. You rise not as the same person, but as a deeper, wiser version of yourself. So if you're in that space right now, curled up, unsure, broken wide open, know this. You're not falling apart. You're falling into alignment. 7. Your energy is sacred. Here's a truth no one really teaches us. Your energy is everything. And when you're a chosen empath, your energy isn't just personal, it's powerful. It can soothe storms or spark awakenings. People feel it when you walk into a room. Some are comforted by it. Others are unsettled. But all are affected. That's why, if you don't protect it, the world will consume it. You have to be intentional. Empathy without boundaries is chaos. So let's break down the sacred self-care you need to thrive, not just survive. Energetic hygiene. Just like you wouldn't leave the house without brushing your teeth, don't leave without cleansing your field. Each morning before checking your phone or stepping into the noise of the world, take a moment. Close your eyes. Visualize a golden light wrapping around you like armor. Breathe deeply. This is your spiritual shield. Strengthen it daily. Fierce boundaries. Not everyone deserves full access to your energy. Empaths attract wounded people, and that's beautiful. But you're not a dumping ground. Learn to say no without apology. Protect your peace like it's sacred real estate. Because it is. Sacred solitude. You need time alone, not because you're antisocial, but because your soul speaks in silence. Go off-grid for a few minutes a day. Sit, breathe, listen. This is how you recharge. This is how you remember. When you honor your energy, you stop leaking it. You stop absorbing chaos that isn't yours. And you start living from a place of clarity, not confusion. Your energy is not just yours. It's your mission, your medicine, your message. Treat it like the sacred force that it is. 8. Your purpose isn't what you think. Let's get something straight. Your purpose isn't hiding in some secret job title or career path waiting to be unlocked like a treasure chest. You don't need to climb a mountain in Tibet or decode some mystical map to find it. Your purpose is who you are, not what you do. This world loves to sell the idea that you need to find your purpose as if it's outside of you, waiting with a checklist and a salary. But for empaths, it's different. Your purpose isn't something you do, it's something you radiate. It's in the way you listen when someone speaks with trembling lips. It's in the way your presence feels like home to a stranger. It's in the way your heart breaks open for the pain of the world and then still chooses love. You see, your existence is a form of service. You're not here to perform. You're here to transform. You're here to be light in places that have forgotten how to shine. So stop thinking you need to be doing more to be worthy. Your worth isn't measured in hustle. It's measured in alignment. Alignment with your truth, your voice, your energy. If you're ever unsure about your path, here's a simple compass. What breaks your heart? What brings you alive? Your purpose often lives right at the intersection of those two. Maybe your heartbreak leads you to heal others. Maybe your aliveness awakens something in someone else. Whatever it is, trust that it's valid. It doesn't have to be big or flashy. It just has to be real. And remember, you don't have to wait until you're perfect to start walking your purpose. You just have to start showing up as yourself, fully, freely, fiercely. 9. You are a light leader. Let's get this out of the way. You don't need to be healed to lead. You don't need a massive following or a perfect plan. You don't need to be loud or charismatic or certified in 20 different healing modalities. You just need to be real, because the world is already full of performers. What it's starving for is presence, and that's where you come in. Chosen empaths aren't here to dominate. We're here to resonate, to lead by vibration, not validation, to lead from scars, not superiority. You are a light leader. And what does that mean? It means your existence shifts things. Your stillness calms storms. Your words activate awakenings. Your truth breaks illusions. You lead simply by being fully you. But to do that, you must lead yourself first. So here are 3 sacred commitments for stepping into your role. Emotional sovereignty. Stop absorbing everything. Start discerning. Feel deeply but don't drown. Ask yourself daily, is this mine? If it's not, release it. With breath, with ritual, with intention, inner authority. Stop second-guessing your gut. Your intuition isn't guessing its guidance. When you feel a yes, follow it. When you feel a no, honor it. That's your compass. Use it. Soul mission. You're not here to survive the system. You're here to shift it. Whether you heal, write, teach, create, speak, or simply love in a way that changes people, that is leadership. And it starts now. Not when you have it all figured out, but when you finally say, this is who I am. This is what I carry, and I'm done hiding it. Because when an empath stops apologizing for their gift, the world changes. So if you've ever wondered why you feel too much, it's because you were made to heal what others deny. If you've ever felt out of place, it's because you were born to build a new world. And if you've ever asked, why me? The answer is simple, because you were ready. Welcome, Chosen Empath. This is your gift. Now go live it.